Wouldn't you be terrified of a UFC lightweight fighter ranked in the top 10? As a former featherweight and lightweight double champion in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, Conor McGregor has wowed fans. He's a prominent UFC fighter who is still dominating the sport and doesn't mind a heated argument from time to time. In today's video, we'll be discussing why other UFC fighters are really scared of Conor McGregor. Why fighters are really scared. Since his debut in 2013, McGregor has had an incredible career as a UFC fighter. Since then, he's been on a roll with numerous victories and a prestigious name to his credit. His fighting prowess and remarkable exploits have established him as a force to be reckoned with. In his UFC career, he has a record of 22 wins and 6 losses. 19 of these victories came by KO, TKO, 2 by decision and 1 by submission. His 19 KO, TKO victories demonstrate his dominance in the sport. A score of 22 wins to 6 losses means it's a rare chance of the fighter losing a match and coming out on the bottom. He understands the sport and holds his physique well, so he's constantly strong and up to the game. McGregor also presents himself in a very bold and strong way. He's not afraid of confrontation between his competitors and other celebrities. He will stick up for himself and what he believes in. He has a big mouth and will talk up his game, but at least he can walk the talk and prove his abilities. His big mouth often results in confrontation amongst his competitors and other relevant celebrities. This happens both in person and online. Great example of this is after McGregor broke his ankle during the fight against Dustin Poirier. While sitting on the ground, unable to move, he yelled across the ring at Poirier and shouted, "Your wife's in my DMs. Hey baby, hit me up. I'll chat to you later on. I'll be at the after party, the Wynn nightclub." This is an example of the fighter's big mouth and his want to cause confrontation. Although this does make McGregor a threat, his competitors may be threatened by the way he carries himself, not wanting to go up against him. This backed up his insane talent and fighting skills too. Since launching his career in 2013, McGregor has become a global superstar and a household name. Dana White, the president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, recalls the first time he heard the name Conor McGregor, a name that would forever impact the sport. In 2013, White was in Dublin to accept an award from Trinity College when he invited UFC fans on Twitter to join him after the event at a nearby pub. The UFC president would pay for the drinks. That night, February 11th, he first heard a name that would go down in UFC history as the most famous. I think it's only right that other UFC fighters feel intimidated and scared of Conor McGregor. He is definitely a force to be reckoned with in the UFC world, and for a small man, has a large personality that matches perfectly to his fighting career. Conor McGregor thinks Khabib Nurmagomedov retired to avoid a rematch with him. Khabib Nurmagomedov may have retired to avoid a rematch with Conor McGregor, according to McGregor. The Notorious one went so far as to say that the Eagle was not a legitimate warrior. In an interview with ESPN's Ariel Helwani, he claimed Khabib Nurmagomedov was afraid to confront him. He did concede, though, that Khabib's father's death was the primary reason for his retirement. McGregor, on the other hand, couldn't help but mock him for quitting when there were still so many fantastic battles to be had. "I think he's afraid to fight me," McGregor claimed. "That's for damn sure. You know, and I don't blame him. I know everything. I fought the best of him on that night, UFC 229. He fought the worst of me on that night. He knows it. I know it. His team knows it. I have the answer to destroy that man." When asked if he believes Khabib retired to avoid fighting him, McGregor responded, yes, I'd say so. I think his hand was shown. He's not a true fighter in my opinion, you know. How could you walk away? There's so many great fights to be had. You know what I mean? Like, think of the Diaz's, the Fergusons. You know, there's so many wild fights. The Oliveras, the rematch against me. McGregor's best wins. Max Holloway. At first look, a unanimous decision over a prospect with 7 wins and 2 defeats doesn't appear to be noteworthy, but Holloway has since established himself as one of the company's best fighters, with 12 consecutive victories propelling him to the top of the featherweight division. These two future stars met at the 145 weight limit, and McGregor was taking the distance for the first time in his 16th mixed martial arts fight, just 3 months after making his UFC debut. Because he tore his anterior cruciate ligament halfway through the race, his victory was all the more spectacular. Jose Aldo. The excitement surrounding McGregor was building quickly, and it reached new heights with this 13-second thrashing of a champion who had a 10-year unbeaten record spanning 18 fights. A picture-perfect left cross took out the Brazilian before he even hit the ground, signaling an emphatic end to a months-long competition. McGregor demonstrated he could back up his bluster with this victory and the 1.2 million pay-per-view sales set at UFC record for a non-heavyweight bout, indicating the charismatic Irishman was one of the company's most bankable attractions. Nate Diaz. McGregor returned to Sin City in the welterweight limit, 25 pounds heavier than where he resigned at featherweight, 5 months after suffering his first UFC defeat. McGregor, like in the previous fight, got out to a fast start in the rematch, knocking out his opponent 3 times in the first 2 rounds. Diaz, on the other hand, endured the punishment and took advantage of his opponent's exhaustion to win the fight by majority decision. After topping a bill that garnered a UFC record 1.65 million pay-per-view sales, McGregor declared the king is back. Eddie Alvarez. McGregor, unsurprisingly, was the main event at the UFC, made its debut in New York, and he marked the occasion by joining all-time greats Randy Couture and BJ Penn in capturing UFC titles in 2 weight classes, making him the first person to hold 2 belts at the same time. Alvarez, like many others before him, couldn't handle his opponent's strength and was knocked down 3 times in the first round before being stopped 3 minutes into the second. In what would be his final UFC fight in over 2 years, McGregor demonstrated he was the man to beat at both featherweight and lightweight. Donald Cerrone. McGregor returned to the ring after 15 months away and more than 3 years since his last UFC victory, reversing his 2019 retirement. Before the referees stepped in, he took only 40 seconds to reassert himself in his favorite state, dropping Cowboy Cerrone with a crisp head kick and a flying knee. McGregor made history by being the first fighter to win knockouts at featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight. At the conclusion, he proclaimed, "I made history here. I established another record." Conor McGregor versus Machine Gun Kelly. Following an argument on the red carpet at the MTV Video Music Awards in New York on Sunday, Conor McGregor and Machine Gun Kelly had to be separated on the red carpet. Photos of the altercation surfaced, showing McGregor, a former 2-division UFC champion, and musician Kelly being separated by security after allegedly coming to blows. A video was then released showing McGregor and Kelly standing opposite one another before the Irish superstar appeared to make a move towards the Cleveland, Ohio native, prompting security to rush in to intervene before a brawl erupted. As event organizers sought to settle the situation, Kelly's girlfriend Megan Fox was soon removed from the fray. According to TMZ, the brawl began after McGregor apparently requested a photo from Kelly, which he refused. Kelly is said to have shoved McGregor, causing the ex-UFC champion to fall over and spill his drink. When McGregor allegedly tossed his drink at Kelly, the situation became even more tense as security tried to keep the 2 celebrities away. Kelly and Fox were seen walking the red carpet together before entering the building when cooler heads prevailed. McGregor was finally given back his walking cane, which he had been using while rehabbing from a fractured leg sustained in his July UFC 264 battle against Dustin Poirier. Despite the altercation, McGregor was accompanied by his longtime girlfriend Dee Devlin, and both were visible in the audience after the event began. During an interview with Entertainment Weekly, McGregor addressed the situation, denying even knowing Machine Gun Kelly prior to the altercation. He stated, "Nothing happened to me. I only fight real fighters. People that actually fight," McGregor said. "I certainly don't fight little Vanilla Ice white rappers. I don't even know the guy. I don't know anything about him, except that he's with Megan Fox." Conor McGregor has built a name for himself both in and out of the UFC. He's had a successful career as a UFC fighter, which he continues now. His strength and talents make him a formidable fighter, while his loud mouth and ego make him a master of confrontation and debate. These are the things that make his potential opponents and other competitors feel intimidated and threatened. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss out on any new and upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.